The woman knew her little nephew was about to die, but she stayed silent, even encouraged him to jump around in the street like it was his living room, because she knew he would soon cause a car accident and die because of his reckless jumping. She was so ruthless, only because she wanted revenge for her own son who had died so unjustly. She was a reborn soul. In her previous life, the nephew was in critical condition after a crash, and urgently needed rare panda blood to survive. Her son happened to be the only match. Her sister-in-law's family had no bottom line. They tricked her son into the hospital and drained every drop of blood from his body. Her husband, eager to cling to his sister's powerful family, not only allowed it, but even deceived their son with the promise of not divorcing her. By the time she rushed to the hospital, her son was already dead from massive blood loss. Devastated, she wanted to end her life, but her in-laws came over and still felt no guilt. They told her her nephew's grandfather was the most powerful man in the city, that his grandson's life was worth far more than her son's. Even if her son had died to save him, it should be considered his fortune. In despair, she lunged at her husband, the one who had signed the consent papers, demanding his life in return. But she was pushed hard down the stairs and died with hatred in her heart. Her last words were a vow that if there was another life, she would make them pay blood for blood. Fate gave her a second chance. She opened her eyes and saw her son alive. She realized she had been reborn to one day before the accident, the time when her nephew was about to get into the crash. Quickly, she came up with a plan, one that would both protect her son and make everyone kneel before her. She first called her father to take her child away. At that moment, her in-laws also arrived to pick up the nephew. She immediately turned on the dashcam in her car, then ran to her husband, pretending her son was in a car accident and needed blood, telling him to bring the nephew to help. He refused without hesitation. Meanwhile, the nephew kept jumping in the street, nearly getting hit by cars. Drivers cursed in anger, but her mother-in-law shielded the boy, saying what was wrong with a child dancing, even rewarding him with candy, because he was a rich third generation, not like a poor kid. The woman just watched coldly, because she remembered the crash would happen in half an hour. She then begged again, asking them to let the nephew give blood for her son. The mother-in-law immediately refused. Even harsher this time, the woman sneered, asking if they would still be so heartless if it was the nephew who needed blood one day. The mother-in-law grew furious, thinking she was cursing the boy, and raised her hand to hit her, but the woman caught her wrist and pushed her away, coldly warning her, "Remember your words today, don't come begging later." The mother-in-law scoffed, claiming even if that day came, she would never bow to her. Every word was recorded clearly on the dashcam. The woman had gotten the proof she wanted. She turned to leave, but the nephew's grandfather and mother also arrived. Hearing she wanted their child's blood, they flew into a rage. The arrogant grandfather declared his grandson's blood was noble. How could it be wasted on her lowly son? To punish her, he announced on the spot that her husband would be promoted and given a raise if he immediately drove her out of the family. Her husband couldn't resist the temptation. He forced her to sign divorce papers, leaving with nothing but her son. But that was exactly what she wanted. Once divorced, when the nephew had an accident, her husband would have no right to demand her son's blood, so she signed without hesitation. She looked them all in the eye and asked if they weren't afraid that one day they would be the ones begging her. They only laughed, certain that